Well, this is a special day in my family and for me individual and for all the people that you see behind me now. It was 52 years ago that we graduated from Union College and a great academic school. We did well. We learned a lot of information, helped us a lot in our lives, but we learned a lot of lessons in another place, and that was on a court, a basketball court. And it taught us probably the biggest lesson, which helped us all, that every part of our lives is a team. If you play sports, it's a team. Your family's a team. If you work for a job or a business, you're a team. If you're a public servant or elected official, you work in government, governments, they should work together as a team regardless of the party affiliation. But the people here created a lot of good days for each and every one of us, and that's why we're so close together. I think we have 11 out of the 13 players who played on the best Union College basketball team in terms of won-to-loss ratio in 1972. We had great coaches, and Gary Walters and Bill Scanlon and Coach Leonelli, who was here, who was 91 years old at this point. And we had some great days. Every time we come back, it is another great day because we learned the most important lesson in life, that as part of that team, if the individuals don't care who gets the credit, the team and the individuals can achieve unbelievable success and goals. And that's a great life lesson that has helped me throughout my life. And it's just a joy to have everybody here at my house who are willing to come back every 5 or 6 years and have a reunion. You don't make friends that close by not having a special relationship in what you did in the past. And I was at college during the Vietnam War, and there was a lot of things going on that were disappointing, but it kind of reunited not only the students who were against the war, but who could come to our basketball games and fill the gymnasium and have a distraction from the concerns of what were taking place during the course of that war and the tragedy of it. So a lot of great memories. I had the opportunity to work on a movie called The Way We Were at Union College with Barbara Streisand and Robert Redford. I was one of the wardrobe men, and I got $50 a day for being a wardrobe man for Barbara Streisand and Robert Redford. It was like $1 million, $50 a day, and got to meet those guys, got to hand out all their clothing for the different segments they did at the college campus at Union. And we're just having a great reunion here today, and love always coming back together. Great memories, things that put an imprint on your life that can change your life for the better. And you'll always remember the great days you have at your college, getting an education, but the unbelievable friends we made as part of a school that had a great basketball team at that time, and I was proud and happy to be a part of it.
Bob Pisano, class of 72. Very fortunate to be recruited to Union to play basketball by Chris Schmidt in 1968 when I graduated from Linton. Played for Gary Brown as a freshman. We had to play freshman ball in those days. Gary's here today, came in from Rochester. Then played 1 year with Chris Schmidt and then 2 years under Gary Walters. Very fortunate to play with a great group of guys, some very talented players. And actually, my last 2 years there, junior and senior years, we went 18-3 and 19-3, achieved a great deal of success, had a 10-game winning streak my junior year, and we had a 15-game winning streak the 1971-72 season.
My name's Bill Arsenal, and I used to be a sports writer, and I covered Union for years and years and years. Well, I'll tell you a great story about that. I covered them in about 4 years before that, and I used to go to games about 5 minutes before they started, and I could sit anywhere I want. There was only like 30, 40, 50 people there, and half of them were studying. And then when Jimmy went, his sophomore year, when Gary Walters was coaching, he scored 40 points in the first game on the road or something like that. I go to the game, I couldn't find a parking place. What the hell's going on? There must be something going on. I walk into the gym and it was standing room only. I couldn't believe it. But he put Union on the map, basketball-wise. And I'll always remember that.
Well, to go back to the freshman year, it wasn't uncommon to have more people at the freshman game than the varsity game to see Jimmy play. Jimmy obviously was a great scorer, an exciting player. And we had to play freshmen, as I stated earlier, that year. Sophomore year, we played under Chris Schmidt. Junior year, Gary Walters arrived, and we started winning games. We lost our very first game, actually, under Gary Walters out at Binghamton, but then won 10 in a row, won the Capital District Tournament, beat Siena and Albany State at the time. And the crowds kept getting bigger and bigger, and they kept moving the portable bleachers in from the football field to expand the seating capacity in the field house. Because of all the room in the field house, they could easily expand the capacity. By our senior year, we were regularly getting crowds of 2,500, and in our last home game against Hamilton, a 110-79 victory, Jimmy had like 41. We had close to 4,000 people in the field house, and the energy was tremendous. And you consider that's a school of 1,600, and we were drawing regularly 2,500 to 3,000, and in that final game, 4,000 people. The community got behind us. We had many local players, but it was a lot of fun, and it was a very special time in all of our lives.
Well, everything was good about that team. First of all, it was a very good team from the standpoint of the players. We had a great record, but it was great from the standpoint of the camaraderie, which is why so many of us are come back here whenever there's a reunion. And it was great to play in front of 3,000 people as a tiny little school, which would now be called Division III. And we had the great crowds, so everything was good about that year.
You had Jim, Bob Pisano, Jeff Walker, Mike Doyle, Tom Backer. Those guys are all local guys. When I joined the team, I was also local, so there was a lot of local interest. I think that did help, yes. But all the other guys on the team were terrific people, very likable group. We had great coaches, Coach Walters, Coach Scanlon, Coach Leonelli. We had, we were well prepared, played hard, and I think the students and the community at large really bought into that and what we were doing, and of course winning helped, and it was made it a lot of fun.
I was an assistant coach. Started with Chris Schmidt, and then when Gary Walters came in, I was with Jimmy Tedisco with that all-star team of 1972. Wonderful experience stepping up from high school to college, and I was very impressed with the players we had, and they were very, very attentive, wanted to learn, very easy to coach. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience.
I'm Phil Johnson, and when Jim and Bob Pisano and the rest of the group here were playing basketball at Union, I was the sports information director. Well, the team had a pretty modest season, Jim's first year, and Gary Walters came down as the coach at the end of that year, and Gary and I became roommates. And so not only did we live the Union basketball games, but we lived the after Union basketball game hours as well. And the team was pretty spectacular. Jimmy was the scorer, and he had a great supporting cast. And not only were they great basketball players, they were great teammates, as I'm sure you can appreciate as 50 years later they all still get together and enjoy one another's company and swapping tales of what many people would find long gone memories. It's great to see them together. They're all good guys. They've all been successes in their life, and it all started back when they were playing basketball at Union.
My name is Gary Brown, and back in 1967,
Prehistoric
times, I had the good fortune of coaching Sir James Tedisco as a freshman basketball player at Union. And to be honest, he's the best athlete I ever coached.
Oh my God, that's an honor. He's coached a lot.
So, just thrilled to be back here with a lot of good people.
First of all, you should know this. Back then, freshmen couldn't play varsity basketball, okay? So we played on the freshman team. Coach Gary Brown was my coach, and a lot of the guys here today. He was the foundation for when we would get to the varsity. To tell you the truth, we played the varsity a lot, and I think we beat them quite a
Why
few
not?
times.
When you had a guy like this, it helped.
Yeah.
Doyle, a few of the boys.
Tom, later
So,
Tom Backer.
Yeah. So, Coach Schmidt, who recruited Jimmy, told me I had to get Jimmy to talk to somebody besides Pezzi.
That's right.
Did I do my job well?
See, he said, why don't you talk so much? I said, I do my talking on the basketball court.
There you go.
And when I wasn't playing any sport, now I'm going to do talking in government. See, now they can't shut me up. But let me say something about Coach Brown. He's one of the people that can impact somebody's life because of the quality of a person that he is. I think he was a good coach. He was what I call the good cop. And when I got to Gary Walters, I found out what the bad cop was. Both great coaches. But he could do it in a kind of a sweet, good, positive way. And Coach Walters was the guy with the stick. He was the guy with the carrot here, Gary Walters. But very effective, and we had those days we can't forget. They're the best days in our lives to interact with people like Coach Brown and Coach Walters, Coach Scanlon, Coach Leonelli's here. These people, they may not know it, but anything we've become, a part of them is with us. And anything we've become that has been part successful is because of guys like this. Great athlete, by the way. Great baseball player, soccer player in the Hall of Fame. Three sports. Soccer too. And it was a joy to know people like him. You know, when you go to college, you don't know you're going to like it. I liked Gary Brown as a coach. And you don't always say you like your coach. Walters, we won games. He was okay. We stay in touch. But he's a good guy, too. I learned to love him also.
These days, you see players being injured constantly, as if they were playing with some intensity. I played basketball with Jim Tedisco for 3 solid seasons. He played with an intensity that some of these players would marvel at. And he was never hurt. The only time that I remember him being even possibly coming out of a game was a game where he played against Bridgeport and had a tremendous game, and it was in overtime and he came up with leg cramps. Nonetheless, he still finished the game. And our entire team, we were playing hard. We were being coached by a disciplinarian. We had no injuries. And these days, you see players going down constantly. And I just marvel at, the level of success, but also the intensity with which my teammates played.
My name's Paul Reichik. I came to Union in the fall of '71, which would have been Jimmy and Pezzi's senior year, started the senior year. And I just started heading over to the field house and watching basketball practices. And they just watched and chased some of the loose balls that were running or flying out onto the dirt floor, which we had in those days. And I'd bring them back, and I'd just show up at practices. Then at one point, it was probably in late October, mid-November, the first guy from the team came over to talk to me was Tom Backer. And Tom just asked who I was, and we just talked a little bit. And eventually I started coming and doing more just to try to help in any way I could. But I've been, told this is very important that we had the wrong Italian playing the key role. Everybody thinks it was Jimmy, but we all know it was Bob Pisano. He was the key to the team. He was the only one who kept Jimmy in control. So, but it's been a remarkable relationship with the whole team and the basketball program since that time. One tremendous family of great people, people who care about each other and have kept in touch for all these years. And it's been for me especially, it's been tremendous. It's been a huge part of my life as Union College in general. Loved it, and I'll never forget these guys for being so important to me in my life.
Sure, I'm Chris Murphy, class of '06 from Union College, and the current head men's basketball coach.
Bob Montana. I was the former men's basketball coach. Had the good fortune to have Chris Murphy play for me for 4 years. I was a lot smarter then.
So as a player, I had an incredible experience at Union. I started my first 2 years. We played in Memorial Fieldhouse, which I've heard a number of stories while I was here today, just about how they packed it in the 70s and some incredible teams, incredible games. I even saw a photo of Jim Tedisco in that book over there, and you could see a packed Fieldhouse behind him.
All the guys that are here today really care about one another as teammates. Chris talked about that yesterday with his players. And certainly you have the good fortune to have some teams like that. It's really special.
I think we were a close-knit team. We came together, put it together those last couple of years, won close to 90% of our games. I think the fact that we liked one another, respected one another, got along with one another, I think that helped us as a team. We kind of meshed very well, both on and off the court. And guys have been successful later in life, starting with Jimmy as a New York State Senator, but we have all kinds of other very successful people, went into all different, walks of life. And we just love getting together every few years and seeing one another and telling the old tales and reminiscing. We've got media people here today. We've got coaches' wives. We have fans, people that remember those days with fond memories.
But it brought the community together also, so they had a sports team that they could cheer for, come and visit. And to this day, I get people coming up to me and saying, I was 5, I was 6 years old, or I was 10 years old, or I was a freshman in high school, and my dad and some of us used to come to your games and watch that team that played in 71 and 72, and they really rejoiced in the fact that they could come and see that outstanding team, and affected the community, affected the student body, and it was a great time at Union College.
Well, Schenectady was a special place, especially the first 3 quarters of the 20th century, let's say. GE was thriving. People could get good jobs in Schenectady. The public schools in Schenectady produced so many great athletes, as you just referred to. Barry Kramer, Pat Riley, Dick Grubar at Gibbons, Tom Chestnut at Linton, Bob DeLuca at Linton. And then later in the 1970s, there were the great teams at Linton under Sidney Edwards, Chuck Abba, who came to Linton to Union, all got together, and 3 of us from Linton ended up on those Union College teams: Chuck Abba, Mike Doyle, and myself. Jimmy came from Gibbons, Jeff Walker came from Colony, and Tom Backer came from Catholic High, and he was a big-time recruit. He was being recruited by Duke. So, Dick Grubar at Gibbons and Tim Kaloje at Amsterdam. We had a number of outstanding Division I players and good basketball players who came out of Schenectady, and we were lucky to be on the tail end of that and get together, and luckily it all came together for us, and we won some games.
Fortunate in this area to have some great schools, and we had the boys clubs, we had the YMCAs, we had all places where we could go. Very fortunate in that. I had the opportunity to play with Barry Kramer and Barnstormer across the state of New York and play some games, semi-professional games. I worked at basketball camps with Pat Riley. So we had some great athletes. Dick Grubar recruited me to go to Bishop Gibbons High School, and I was fortunate enough to break the high school record there, 55 points in 1 game. And that's without a 3-point shot or a 24-second clock. So, yeah, you're right. There must be something in the water. But it's a great community, and the 44th Senatorial District is the place where I like to say all good things emanate from, and that is Schenectady, Niskayuna, and the great county of Saratoga County, and I'm honored to have a job I wake up every morning and love to go to. As much as I loved athletics and playing sports, I love public service, and part of that team is a part what I think can make me effective. And I rejoice in the fact that I can work with both sides of the aisle and have a day like this where all my fellow players come back and we remember the good old times with the coaches and their families.
52 years doesn't seem possible, really.
No.
I mean,
he got younger and I got older.
No, they were just, I had good fortune of dealing with a lot of quality young men at Union, and it's a better part of my life. So enjoyed it.
When you want to come back and be together after 52 years, you know something had a profound impact on your life. Those days when we could get out of the classroom, it was not an easy school academically, Union College, and go be with coaches and other players. We built a camaraderie. We learned a lesson that if the individual doesn't care who gets the credit, the team, the coach, every individual can take credit for the successes that we have and the goals that you create. And coaches like Gary Brown taught you that. Every part of our life is a team. It's a family. Our family's a team. Our education was a team. Job we do is a team. But we learned that from academically, yeah. But I believe more so on the basketball court.